I invite those of you who are staying to have a seat. Where are Michael and Logan? I'm waiting for some of our key players to be back in the room, and then I will call us to order. Thank you so much for having a seat. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 11:08. Maybe. I'm watching people walk back out the door. So, Joe. Thank you. So, next slide, please.
Let's open up in prayer. Thanks for staying. Loving God, thank you for our church family. And as we just gather together, just to get an update, I pray that it would inspire us and give us some motivation to continue to serve and to give. Bless our meeting in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Michael Arnett and Logan Terrell, do we have a quorum? Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about are the suggested revisions for the bylaws. These were sent out probably about 6-8 weeks ago and then sent out again. So if we can go to the next slide. Our first proposed amendment is to change the name of the administrative ministry team. So administrative for many people makes us think about working in an office. And the administrative team has nothing to do with the office. So they have requested that we change the name to the Building and Grounds Ministry Team, and the governing board has voted to approve this and bring it to you as the membership to change this name of the ministry team to the Building and Grounds Ministry Team. Making that change will involve changing it throughout the bylaws. Okay? And so as you can see, we're going through, these are the parts of the bylaws that show that Building and Grounds. The other piece is that we are taking out the insurance responsibilities from the Building and Grounds and moving that to the Finance and Stewardship Ministry Team. So we would make that change. I think, next slide. Am I going too fast for all of you? Okay, all right, good. So, so we're moving the change. So here you see that we are inserting this in the Finance and Stewardship Ministry Team responsibilities. So we're also suggesting a change in the article about the diaconate, changing the review of the membership from twice a year to once a year, normally October. And this has been requested because really once a year is sufficient to be reviewing and taking off anybody who wants to come off. And so the pastor and the diaconate have requested this change. Okay, I believe, is there one more or is that all of it? Thank you. So may I have a motion to approve these suggested changes? Okay, I see Gail Richards, thank you. And who seconded? Barbara Teal. Thank you. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstains? Motion passed. Thank you very much. Now I'll move on to the Congregational and Governing Board goals for 2025. Our congregational goals are very, very similar to what they have been for the last several years. There might be some slight wording change, but we're asking the congregation to continue to support our future planning, looking to the church's long-term sustainability, have a willingness to change for the growth of our church, and participate in any surveys and feedback and provide prayer support. We're asking that you continue to commit your financial support, pledging support and giving other offerings as aligned with our means. Back one more, back. Thank you. And consider including UCC at the villages in your planned giving for sustained impact. Now we can go forward, thank you. We want to continue to create a tapestry of welcome, proactively practicing friendliness to create an inclusive and welcoming space for it all. Invite people to church, recognizing that the growth of our church is propelled by personal invitations, not by the minister, but by us. And cultivate an inviting atmosphere, urging guests to seamlessly become a part of our vibrant church family. Participate actively. We actively join the rhythm, when able, of weekly worship, outreaches, social events, service opportunities, and mission activities. We're not spectators, but participants. Use involvement to collectively create a dynamic, growing, and engaging church environment. Consider serving in a ministry that we have offered, or explore the possibility of starting a new ministry that you believe would bring value to our church or community. And then staying informed by using channels of communication offered through the newsletters, emails, social media, and Sunday announcements. And we ask that you prayerfully and lovingly support our pastor, leadership, and ministry teams through open communication. Together, through these actions, we will shape a church community that thrives on commitment, inclusivity, active engagement, and unwavering support. Any questions on this? Okay, and next we'll move to the goals of the governing board. Our goal as the governing board is to synchronize and support the ministry team goals. So as leaders, we promise to provide unwavering support in aligning each ministry team's objectives with our church's mission, creating a unified path towards our shared vision. We want to ensure safety, so our dedication to safety remains steadfast, and we will practice 1 to 2 safety drills from our emergency response manual, and we will critically evaluate and reinforce our safe church plan. We want to revitalize our Constitution and bylaws if necessary, so as our church evolves, so should our guiding principles. Any necessary amendments will be presented at our annual meeting, reflecting our current needs and practices effectively. And we are strategizing for the future. Our future is a canvas of possibilities, and we aim to paint it with future planning. So we have a team that's evaluating our future needs, challenges, and paths to growth. And we're working on formulating a plan considering aspects such as ministries, growth, financial reserves, multiple services or satellite location, facility enhancements, and outreach. We also have a commitment to the way of Christ. As your leaders, we commit in 2025 to follow the example of Christ in leading the church in the love of Christ for all. Are there any questions on those goals? Okay, thank you. And next slide. Let's see what order Penny put the ministry team messages in. Pastor's report. Thank you.
I won't spend too much time on this because I sent in e-news out at the beginning of January highlighting some of the goals, and it's going to also come out again in the reporter, so you could read a little bit more in depth. But I always think every new year that starts at church, as many as I've been to, I think of Acts 2, it says they continued. I think one of the goals that I have, and for all of us to have, is to continue to do what we do and do our best. And, you know, I promise my goal every year is to continue to do my best, continue to love people and be there, to continue to have a heart open for God to speak through me and to use me. So you could go to the next screen, and we continue in that church. But every year, my goal is to continue to cultivate a church culture of family and positivity and passion. The church is, we don't just gather and leave, but we are relational. We build relationships. And so I try my best. My wife, Jan, and I try our best to build relationships with each and every one of you, because each and every one of you is important to God, so they're important to us, and you become part of our lives. So my other goal is to support and encourage every ministry team. I make myself available for the team and anything that they need, and support them in their goals as well, or even sometimes help them develop their goals. And to create meaningful worship services week after week. And our care ministry, and I appreciate Joyce has taken over the reins, and I appreciate Joe. Thank you for serving in that ministry for so many years. Our goal in our care ministry is to reach out every 2 months to somebody. It's just a simple hello. It's just to keep lines of communication and to let people know that we're thinking of them. And our digital ministry, we want to continue that. I want to support the AV and the future that we have there, social media, and our online presence. We have, in fact, one of our members just came to me after, it was Kathy and John, they didn't stay, but Kathy says, I want to let you know that my daughter watches you every week from Arizona. I said, well, let her know that she joins us. I only mention the ones that actually kind of sign in on the feed, whether it's YouTube feed or the Facebook feed, but she watches us every week. So we want to continue to have that online presence. And community enrichment, expanding offerings and building relationships through small groups, and we want to begin to develop that. My wife and I, we try to go to the Dine with Nines as much as we can, and fellowships and meetings, and then provide leadership with stewardship, service, and future planning. And you're going to be hearing about some of that from Jim Bodenner as well. All right, that's all I have. Jean?
Hi there. There we are. My name is Jean St. Pierre, and I am the chair of the Diaconate Committee. The Diaconate goals are to continue reviewing membership and try to grow membership throughout the church, recognizing that we are a great and unique resource to this demographic, and there's nothing quite like us here, and to get that word out and see if we can grow who we are and what we do. Second of the Diaconate goals are solutions for overflow seating for services. We had the largest number of participants in our Easter service, even though it was later in the year, so a lot of the snowbirds had already left, and I see no reason why that shouldn't continue. So we had a little bit of overflow seating back there, and we will continue to review the need for that, and also coordinate anything that might be needed as far as parking goes in the future. We would like to get everybody's input for perhaps getting logo shirts, designs in maybe various colors, if anybody has that kind of skill set, so that we could figure out some swag to get it out there and get some advertising going. I think that would be a wonderful way to build our presence in the community from sort of the bottom up. Carolyn Hamill and I and the banner committee are working on completing the banners prior to Advent of this year, and we will be continuing to complete that as we go. We are working with Pastor Joe on a pulpit change, and we continue to review that in terms of what everybody can agree to and is needed and is best for the space. We work on, obviously, our big season starts at about Thanksgiving. We work on Advent and Christmas and Lent and Easter. We are also continuing to review the feasibility of adding a second service and what that might look like and what that might work best for the congregation and the social hour, as well as, of course, Pastor Joe and Janice's schedule and everybody else that we serve. Thank you.
Just wanted to thank everybody who voted to change the bylaws, because now we're officially the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and I had requested that some time ago to better reflect on what the committee's responsibilities are. We actually have divided our 8-member committee into 2 sub-teams, one under myself as chair and one under Jan Cope as vice chair, but I sit on the governing board as a representative. And as you can read, I'm not going to read it verbatim, but it cuts down the workload and the responsibility. 8 people cannot do it. I mean, even in the last month, there are little things that we have taken care of that probably nobody sees. We've had a door lock problem, we've had a plumbing problem, we've had an electrical problem. One of the upcoming things happening in May is we're going to professionally clean the floor in Fellowship Hall and the hallway leading to the restrooms. And it's pretty straightforward. The building subgroup takes care of the buildings from the top of the steeple to the subfloor, if you will. And the grounds committee is responsible for everything outside. And I want to give a special shout out to Fred Wallace and Mike Lampin. They are not an official member of our committee, but they have agreed and taken on the project of beautifying our grounds. They have gotten a number of other members to join them, usually on Thursday, where they plant, they fertilize, they pick weeds, they trim shrubs and so forth. So special shout out to Mike and Fred. Pretty straightforward. I'm the chair, Jan Cope is vice chair, my spouse Carol is the secretary, and then we have the other remaining 5 members. Now we have a few goals that we're working on. We're looking to upgrade our current security system. We have cameras that at one time were functioning, cameras that basically showed the sanctuary, Fellowship Hall, the narthex, and even outside. We've got a couple of members of our committee who are focusing, I guess is the word, with regard to bringing that back up. We've had a lot of false alarms where members of the church come here and try to determine whether it's a false alarm. I mean, you can have a little gecko go across the motion sensor and trip the sensor. But we don't want somebody coming here and possibly interfacing with an intruder. So what we're planning to do is get the cameras back up and working along with the motion sensors and have it monitored by an outside group, such as maybe ADT. We're not definitely fixed with them, but an outside group that will monitor when one of the alarms go off to actually see if there is an intruder, and then they can call the sheriff's department and notify members of the committee, you know, such as that. The other thing that we're looking to, and it's strictly in the feasibility stage right now, is to determine the cost and possibly the location of an LED digital sign on CR 101 to replace our fixed sign. Like I say, I'm heading that up. I'm working with 3 different companies, and like I say, I'm trying to learn more about the technology so that I can put together a package so all 3 can quote apples against apples. And then we'll bring it before the governing board for their discussion and possible approval. So other than that, that's all I've got. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jim Bodenner, and I proudly serve as the chair of the Finance Committee here at UCC. And my wife Sue and I are honored to be a part of this incredible ministry. I'd like to first review the Finance Committee's goals. And, you know, what do? Well, we hold monthly meetings to review the financial progress of the budget and the financial progress of the church. We collaborate with the leadership to monitor the budget. It's a very critical aspect of what we do. We keep the congregation updated on financial matters, just like we're doing here. We monitor insurance coverage. I'm very, very keenly aware of the importance of insurance, and we put together a committee every December to make sure we understand what our insurance requirements are, so that the leadership of this church knows exactly what the situation is with regard to liability insurance. We work with and collaborate with leadership to develop a planned giving program. The ink is still wet. There's a newly prepared brochure that explains what planned giving is. There are copies of this available in the narthex. But in the coming months, there is a committee that is being formed to educate everyone on what planned giving is. How can we work with our lawyers, work with our estate planners to build UCC into your legacy? So stay tuned. You can pick up a brochure though in the back in the narthex after this service. And finally, we are collaborating with the church leadership to support intentional planning. It's pretty exciting to see what's happening here when we have overflow crowds. The church is growing. There's energy in this church. It's a growing ministry. How do we make it sustainable long term? What do we do? What steps do we take to make sure that this ministry can be sustainable and can reach out to our broader community and tell the very, very important message that we have here at UCC? Those are the goals. I'd like to give you a quick snapshot of the financial progress of the church. This church can pride itself in its financial leadership. The governing board, the treasurer, the finance committee, the administrative committee, watches the money very, very closely. And it's really interesting to look at the numbers. For example, our budget for income, and these numbers are reported through March of 2025, so that's, what, 25% of the year. So you can eyeball with an income budget of $368,000, and year-to-date we've raised $153,000. Well, obviously that's more than 25%, but in money comes into the church, it's heavily loaded early in the year. The Finance Committee and our treasurer believe we are firmly on track to meet our income budget for the coming year. And again, if you look down through expenses, our total expenses for the year through March total $82,000. Our total expense budget, our total load for the year is $368,000. Again, if 25%, you can see we're pretty well on track to meet our expense budgets. Our expenses tend to come in on a more regular basis, obviously, than income. Capital reserves. This is an important element of this church. This church is debt-free. There is no mortgage on this church. We can be proud of that. And in addition, the church has taken financial steps to make sure that it's sustainable. We have an operating cash reserve of $53,000, total operating reserve of $317,000, and total building fund assets of just under $200,000. We have capital reserves through your generosity to make sure that this church can operate sustainably long-term. And how do we get into doing intentional planning? How do we look to expand this ministry? We have to do it from a position of financial strength. And we can all proudly sit here today and realize that the money that you all invest in this ministry is being properly spent. With that, a shout out to our treasurer, Jeff Osterman, who tracks these numbers like a hawk. Don't mess with Jeff if you've got a question. But if you've got a question, Jeff or myself would be available after the service to answer any detailed questions. Thank you very much.
Good morning again. Loving our neighbors as ourselves, and we do a wonderful, as I said earlier today, this church is amazing. You are amazing as a church community. I want to first introduce the voting members, and I think some of them are here. Jean Christopher and Billy Novajowski are not here. They're up north for the summer. But I'd like Linda Elkove, Anberg, B. Hester, if she's here, and Kay Phelan to stand, because those are our voting members and are willing to answer questions or suggestions if you have, I guess Kay and Linda didn't stay. But thank you to those people. And the other mission team members, they're members, but not the voting members. Kay Dockery, Sharon Bradley, Jean St. Pierre, Mabel Prescott, Sue, Mel Johnson, Sue Bowden, or sorry, Sue, Mel Johnson, Claire Perezic, and each of you, UCC members and friends who have consistently supported the many mission activities that we do all through the year. We do make a calendar. I didn't go over my team goals yet. Whoops. Let me go to those. The mission ministry team will develop a calendar of events and planned mission outreach and activities. And we develop that through the year, and then we know what we're doing and what's coming up. With our food drives, our clothing donations, the plastic film collection, the suitcase collection and donations, and at Christmas time, the Children's Christmas Fund, the Scholarship Fund. The second one we do is the mission ministry team will communicate these events to you, which we hope that you are reading in the emails, the e-news that goes out, and the reporter articles. I try and include everything that's important especially, and we also do presentations like we did this morning. We're getting into the press more too, I think thanks to Sue Bodenner, who's doing that for the church. The ministry team will respond to emerging disasters in our world and will support those promoted by the National UCC. And mostly that is a financial outreach for us, that we want to try and help them financially when we can for disasters that we hear about. The ministry team will respond to social injustices in our world to include education, advocacy, and awareness activities for our congregation and the community through our documentary series, which is growing, information tables in the narthex when we have things going on, wise participation, the various walks that we have for cancer, Alzheimer's, participation in local events, and the suicide prevention walks. Thank you for your items that you donate all the time. I'm sure each person here has donated something, either a box fan, a book, food, clothing, prayer shawls, or if you've taken a prayer shawl to give to someone. All of those outreaches add up to us becoming the hands and feet of Christ, as Pastor Joe says. We are a community of faithful people. Just quickly, to date, more than 500 pounds of food has been brought down to the Wildwood Food Pantry, more than 700 pounds of clothing to Caring Hands, and we have saved more than half of our plastic film that we gather, and we're well on our way to hopefully getting that second bench for the garden bench. So thank you. If you have questions, I'm available also anytime, and our mission team members can help. And again, great opportunities don't happen every day, but small ones are around us all the time. Thank you.
The yard sale was a great success this year, and we had a lot of fun putting it together. We raised $5,300. At least in my experience with it, it's the best we've done. The picture you see now is Claire Parzak presenting the check to Jim at Caring Hands, a check for $2,650. The other check, which will go to, I'm blanking, Hands of Mercy Everywhere, which will also be here to speak to us next week. That will be presented next week. Again, a check for $2,650. So we did really well. I'm looking forward to next year and looking forward to your help. Especially want to thank the people that came out. There are people that hang around to move furniture for us on Sunday and come back on Saturday. There are those that do sorting and pricing, those that do all their donations, those that come in to do customer service. We need every one of you to make this work. And a special shout out to the bakers. They really outdid themselves this year. We had some wonderful baked goods to sell. So thank you to everybody. We'll be back next year. I haven't picked a date yet, but it'll be end of February, early March. So, and please, I asked you this year for recommendations for the money. I would ask that again. Think about that. It can be a lot of things. It can be a veterans program. It can be a children's reading program. Certainly the programs we did this year are great. I would like to see us continue, though, to spread out a little bit. So think about it. Keep in mind as you're out in the community and you're supporting different things, do we want to support that also here with next year's collection? Yes.
My name is Janice Blaisdell, and I have the Christmas decorations that did not get sold in the yard sale safely stored in my garage. And they go in December to the sheriff's department, who sets up the fairgrounds and puts out Christmas things for people who that doesn't fit into their budget. They can come and pick up any type of decoration they'd like. And so we will donate those, and I set them safe, and those are from our yard sale.
And thank you for that. And I will tell you, any of you that know of something special and you see we have leftover, A lot of times we have linens that, like towels and stuff that don't sell. If you want to take them to an animal shelter or somewhere, you are welcome to do that as the sale ends. We do take the remains to Goodwill, but we are happy for it to go anywhere. If you know of a place that you come in on Saturday and we still have a pile of towels or lots of glasses or something that an organization could use, I am very happy. We are very happy for you to take them and give them to those organizations. So please keep it in mind, and I will tell you, I already have the first donation from my neighborhood for next year. It's very small, but it's, again, my neighborhood really comes up because I spread the word. So if you can handle it, please say, when we get a month out, start to talk to your neighborhood. We've got this coming up, and if you can bring those donations, it would be wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your help.
Is the AV team trying to tell us we need to hurry up? No? All right. So I ask, is there any other business to come before this meeting? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion for adjournment to happen after we have the prayer. And I see Bill Richter can't wait to get his arm up. Who wants to second that? Carol and Gordon. And I invite all in favor? Aye. Opposed? I didn't think I'd hear any of that. First was Bill Richter and Joe. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Let's be dismissed in prayer. Loving God, thank you for our church family, and continue to use us together to accomplish your mission, and continue to use us as a church. Dismiss us now in your grace, and we thank you for each and every person that serves, that gives in so many different ways. Dismiss us now in your grace, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much, everybody.